So this is my 3060 that I'm gonna be moving to that new motherboard. I have another two EVGA 3060, so I have total of 4 3060. The one of the EVGA is like a LHR version. The other one is also regular, like this one. But those are like the small form factor of the 3060, which is actually my favorite. They are quiet. It's only 2 fans, but they're quiet. This one is like huge, like 3 fans. This is like Asus TUF version, but this one like really, it's like it builds like really robust. The shroud actually is made of aluminum. It's not plastic. So I'm gonna be taking this out and then yeah, transfer it to that new motherboard. Alright, so this is the final cut and measurement that I did. So it has to be in the vice grip, sideways like that. And this is the top bar where the GPU is gonna be mounted. It's gonna be like that. Okay, so the frame is ready. I already installed the motherboard. Oops. And as you can see, I already took out the two 3060s, and I'm gonna use the same memory, which is that's DDR3 motherboard that I have, that I used to have my gaming motherboard, and this is also used DDR3. And I'm gonna use that SSD for now. It's already have like a nice hash in it, and then probably I'm gonna get the MSATA SSD to use with this board in the future. So I want to show you guys here. Yeah, I have some extra spacers that I use instead of using the felt board this time, so which is way better. And I'm gonna use this Corsair power supply. Alright, so let me put it together and we'll see how it works. And I just want to show you guys the board closely. I like this board because it also doesn't use the 24 pins, so it power up with the 6 pins, just like the BTC series and the B85. And as you can see, it has like in and out, but it says on the board it's labeled like DC external, whatever. DC in supposed to be DC out, right? And it also, I bought this like it comes with heatsink and fan and CPU, so it came like this. And it doesn't have a power button, but it has, like, as you can see right here, there's the jumper. It says auto on, so it means if it detects the power from the power supply, it will turn on automatically. So, but I guess if you have a, yeah, it has like all the connectors here. If you have like the power button cable, so you can plug it in here, but it doesn't have that like a built-in switch, power switch, just like the BTC series. And the front, this one doesn't have HDMI. It's only have a VGA, Ethernet, and 2 USB. So I don't really, yeah, I don't mind that. As I said, like my little monitor has a VGA. So, all right. Alright, so still doesn't turn on. So I double check that, make sure that there's CPU and the pins seems to be okay, no bent. And let's put the CPU back. Alright. It's kind of weird because this is dual locking mechanism here. Oh, see, like there's a dual locking here. Alright guys, so I managed to turn it on. As you can see that there's only one 6-pin connectors, and then the motherboard turns on. You know what happened is, when I tried to turn it on, I was waiting for the fan to, of course, spin as a normal computer. Just like the BTC series, the fan of the CPU starts spinning right away. And this thing, it will turn on, and then, I mean, the fan will spin and stop. And I forgot that this is a smart power supply, which doesn't, the fan doesn't spin all the time unless it's reached a certain temperature. So once you turn it on, the fan will kick in and then it stop, because right now the only load that he has is this motherboard from 6 pins connector. And again, the other misleading for this motherboard is this fan here. This fan here is not a CPU fan. As you can see, where it's connected, it says system fan. I don't know if this is supposed to be automatic. It will automatically turn on, because I can feel that the heatsink is getting really hot right now. And this is 3 wires. It's supposed to have a sensor that when the temperatures goes above the average, the fan should automatically turn on. That's what I am expecting. And yeah, so just to show you guys, like, I will turn it off. I will turn it off completely from the power supply. Let's see. There you go, it's off. So now I'm gonna turn the power supply on. Watch the other fan that doesn't spin, and the power supply fan is just gonna spin and then stop. There you go, and you'll see it will power the monitor, because I'm getting the power from the USB. You'll hear the beep. I don't know if you hear that beep, and it goes to BIOS right away because I don't have SSD. And as you can see, the fan doesn't spin at all. So, but the motherboard is on. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna hook up the SSD, and let's see. All right. So I got the SSD installed. The solder right here, and I got a power 24 pins jumper plug in, and I'm gonna use this one again because I cannot find the SATA cable for that. I mean the SATA power cable for my Corsair, and this one already have it. So I try to use this pin here just to see if it should work, with any like 6 pins input connector. So let's try the power on. Power supply turns on. As soon as the my monitor turns on, it means there is a power going in the motherboard, because that's from you hear that beep? There you go. It's beeps, and as you can see right there, it's booting to Windows. Yay! Still no activity with the fan. As I said, this is not a CPU fan. It's connected to the chassis system fan. So it's not once you turn the motherboard on, it doesn't spin right away. Once it's boots up completely and it works, everything works fine, I'm going to try it to 3060. Okay, so now it's running with 5 cards. I just want to show you guys here the, as you can see, like the 3060, it's hashing like 47.25.26 megahash per second. And this is the 3060, and this is the other one, and this is the small form factor EVGA. As I mentioned earlier, that I have 4 3060, but one of them is LHR. So the thing is, you cannot mix them together because the 470.05 driver doesn't work with LHR version. So what I did, I just added like a 11070 and 11060 just to fill up the all PCIE. Anyway, yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed that in the beginning of the video, the board doesn't come with a CMOS battery. They said it's just like a shipping regulation. I contacted the seller, so I got the CMOS battery to install. And the important thing that I want to mention is, like, if you guys get this motherboard, make sure to check the fan. If the fan is connected to the system fan header, which is right there, I would just suggest to move it right away to the 4 pins connector, because like I've been waiting for the fan to kick in, and then the CPU heatsink was already really hot and the fan never worked. So what I did, yeah, as I said, I moved it to the 4 pin connector, and right now the CPU heatsink is like really cool, and then the fan is really quiet. Actually, the noise that you can hear actually is mostly from the GPU fans. And of course, you still have to you have to install the 470.05 driver, and you still have to use the HDMI dummy plug for the regular 3060. And yeah, so like you can see, that's the gap. And this Asus 3060, this is really thick, like this is 2 inches thick. So let's say if you have the 3090, even though it will go like 2.5 inch thick, still you have still good like gap between the cards. Yeah, so it seems the motherboard is really stable. So far it didn't crash or anything, no restarting. And yeah, I got this motherboard from AliExpress. Alright, so last thing I'm gonna do is gonna install cooling fans. So I think it's gonna be just like 1 here and then 2 on the other side. And I'm gonna do some wire management, and I'm gonna look for 2 more version 1 3060 so that I can complete this rig. And I think that's it. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.